What's up, guys? This is part 2 of my series on how to build a Pokemon business. My name is Drew. I'm the owner of drewscardhouse.com. I'm the owner of Drew's Card House LLC. I run drewscardhouse.com, Drew's Card House on Instagram, MD Cards on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and things like that. I've been doing this Pokemon business for about a year, and a little disclaimer, I am definitely nowhere near a very successful Pokemon business owner, and I'm definitely not the most popular or knowledgeable, but I want to share with you guys what I've learned over the past year and help you guys start your business, get some advice and things like that, and just a little direction on where to go. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to sell Pokemon cards. Last video, we talked about how to buy Pokemon cards, so make sure to go check that out. But now that you've bought some cards, this is how you can sell them. Selling is very special. There's there's countless ways to sell Pokemon cards, like literally countless ways to sell Pokemon cards. But first, before everything, this is the number one thing that you need for 99% of these ways to sell Pokemon cards is you need a community. Just like in the last video where I said you need a community to buy cards, because who's going to sell to you? Random people? No, your community. Same thing, who are you going to sell to? Your community. And a lot of people always have questions to me like, oh, where do I get a community? How do I do this? Blah, blah, blah. The best way is to get yourself out there. Make a social media, go to card shows, vend at a card show, post, stream on whatnot, whatever you're doing, make a community. And there's obviously different types of communities. A lot of people have community on Facebook. A lot of people have a community on Facebook groups, Instagram, social media, TikTok, or they'll have their entire community on whatnot, maybe on eBay, on Instagram, in-person vending, things like that. There are plenty of different places that you can build your community, but make sure, one, if you do choose one place that you really want to work on, stick to that place, work on it. Maybe you can try expand and things like that, but remember, your main community is the place that you're going to really go to buy and sell everything. So whether that's whatnot, TikTok, Instagram, just make sure you work hard, build your community, and that's how you're going to get people to sell to and buy from. Here are the different ways that I personally have categorized in selling. First, Facebook Marketplace / Craigslist. This is going to be your kind of local place to sell where where you can basically go on Facebook Marketplace, make an account, post what you got. You know, a lot of people post lots, or they'll post individual items, things like that. Post, hey, I got this booster box, or hey, I got this slab. This is how much I want for it. This is where we can meet up, things like that. Go on Craigslist, do the exact same thing, or any other local ways. I don't really know any other ones, but personally, those are the ones that I use. People also do this local kind style on Instagram, but in general, the go-to place for these kind of local meetups is Facebook and Craigslist. Next, social media or just kind of online chats in general. I got different places that you can do this is Instagram, TikTok, Discord, Facebook groups, places like that. This is another great place, one, to build your community because you can have followers, things like that. But this is an amazing place that a lot of people use, including me, where I'm just going to go on my Instagram, post videos about what I got, about what I'm doing, and then once in a while post stories or post about what I'm selling, and then hopefully someone will respond to that post and be like, hey, I'd be interested in buying that. You work it out with them and things like that. But this is an amazing place to do it. Like I didn't mention this earlier, but like Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, this is also a place where you can normally get like the best deals because one, you're not going through some third-party service like Whatnot, TCG Player, or a credit card fee. A lot of times people just use Zelle or Venmo or things like that and kind of waive that fee. So you can get better deals. It's a lot more fun. It's really easy to communicate and just things like that. Next, well-established marketplaces. These are going to be your places like TCG Player, eBay, Mercari is something I've heard of. I've never used it personally. And I'm sure there's countless other ones, but those are the main ones. This is the place where you're going to be able to sell basically anything. These are the places where all of the customers can come to you super easy because they're on actually I don't know, really big money marketplaces that spend tons of money on marketing, everything like that. So if you just have decent prices and you're well trusted, then you're going to be able to sell on these places. Now, selling on these places is a little bit different because since they're providing that massive marketplace for you, they do take a fee, usually around 10 to 15%. I think Whatnot is like 8%, but we're going to go over Whatnot later. But for these ones, 10 to 15%, pretty kind of chunky, you know? So this is definitely the places where I'd go to sell your harder cards to sell. Like I personally use TCG Player and eBay to sell all of the $1 to $10 cards that I bought at like 60% to sell on, because it's a lot harder to find a lot of people out there on Instagram who just want to buy $1 cards, but on TCG Player, eBay, that is where people would look for the $1 cards. So go on there to sell those kind of cards, or even the bigger cards, depending on the kind of prices, deals that you have. There are some people who are so good at selling on these sites that they have deals with them to waive their fees. I heard no clue if it's real, but things like that. So that's another amazing place. And just in general, honestly, I'd suggest everyone try to sell on TCG Player because it teaches you so much. It teaches you how to grade cards, aka I mean like condition, or sorry, not grade, condition cards. It teaches you marketplaces. You can see, since TCG Player is definitely the top two ways people buy cards, the whole entire marketplace is on there for you to look at, understand market, learn, things like that. So really cool, really amazing tool to use, and it teaches you a lot. So I definitely suggest selling on there. Just a few cards or tons of cards, whatever you want, just to learn a little bit. Next we got live selling. So we got Whatnot, eBay Live, TikTok Live, Drip, TikTok Shop. I don't know. I said TikTok already. But anyway, like all those live marketplaces, I'm sure there's more. Those are really amazing places to really push your community and your personality. When you're live on like I'm just gonna use Whatnot for all the examples, but it basically applies to everything else. When you're live, that is the best time that people can really connect to you, to the seller. And because of that, there's also a lot of scams because people get connected, buy their stuff, and then they get scammed. But anyway, just don't be a scammer. And you can really connect with your audience. You can talk to them literally live. You can relate with them. You can show them what you're selling and everything like that. It's really amazing. I don't know what the fees are on the other places, but I know Whatnot is around 8.5%, which is pretty good, plus credit card fees, which can be 1 to 3% or something. I don't really remember. But it's an amazing place to sell. You can do whatever you want on them too. Like you can literally, I don't know. I see people do spin the wheels. I see people do lottery drops. I see people do mystery bags, things like that. There's tons of ways to sell it. There's auctions, and it's honestly a really amazing place to sell. And a lot of people will actually only sell on these places. Like I know a lot of people who are on Whatnot. I don't see them anywhere else. I don't see them vending. I don't see them on Instagram. I don't see them on TikTok. I don't see them anywhere else. But they're able to sustain themselves basically totally on Whatnot. So make sure to go check that out as an option. It is a little bit harder to do because you need a area where you can stream. You need good, decent Wi-Fi connection. And a lot of people, for example, who want to start this in high school or they live with people, maybe those people you live with don't really want to hear you screaming or, talking to random people 24/7 and live streaming their place. But if you can, I think you should try it out. It's a really amazing place to go. And it's a lot of fun. I love talking to everyone who comes to watch. And yeah, that's another option to sell. Next, we got vending. So vending, in my opinion, is probably the best way you can sell Pokemon cards. Whether you're a beginner or a top tier kind guy, vending is the best. Everyone who goes to a vending show is there to buy cards. And everyone who's there at a vending show is there to sell cards. So boom, kind of like TCG Player and eBay, where you have this massive marketplace. You're there, the massive marketplace is there, but now you don't get a 10-13% fee. Or, I don't know, I've never heard of a card show that takes a percentage of sales because that would be really hard to track. But in general, all you would have to pay is a table fee. And usually that table fee is nothing compared to what you can possibly make in connections, in money, in sales, in trades, and everything like that. The potential is absolutely insane. And also, you get the benefit of things like Whatnot, where you're there in person, you can easily connect to the people you're selling to. It is pluses all around. But guess what? I don't vend. And the reason for that is because vending is very location orientated, especially when you're a beginner. The top guys can kind of just buy a plane ticket, go there, and they work really hard to be able to do that. But I personally have not worked that hard, sadly, and I cannot vend because there's no vending shows near me, and when there is one, it's like an hour or two away, and I'm usually a bit too busy with classes or other things to do it. So sadly, I do not vend. But I definitely suggest that if you are able to vend and it's not too out of the way, you should definitely try it. It's literally a one-stop shop for everything, where you can get a massive marketplace, you can rep your brand, you can buy, trade, sell, learn, have fun. Literally, just it's amazing thing to do. And yeah, definitely go check that out. Vending is definitely, in my opinion, the top tier place to do it. And finally, we have website building. This is what I personally do the most. And I'd say that this is probably the hardest way to sell Pokemon cards. And maybe not the hardest, because vending would probably be harder since I literally can't do it. I don't really have the option to do it. Or the willpower, I guess. But website building is really hard because, one, it's a little bit of a learning curve. You have to learn how to build a website, host it, things like that. Obviously, you can pay someone, but if you're just starting, you're not really going to have the money to pay someone to build you a website or host a website or things like that. So I had to learn how to build a website and everything like that. Since you're trying to drive traffic to your website, the only real way to do that is either ads or making social media. So this is where you're gonna really combine your social media and your website. That's kind of what I did, and you're gonna have to drive your people from social media to your website. I wouldn't suggest using ads a lot, especially on Google, because dime a dozen. And honestly, the most important thing with a website is your credibility. And credibility is really hard to build when you're small. So when you're just starting, I'd honestly really suggest repping your website through your local community and through your Instagram, social medias, everything like that. And if you're vending and have a website, that's like a lot of work. That's crazy. Good for you. Like I said, vending is a place we can just disperse everything out there, so you can tell people about your website, things like that. And yeah, another really hard part about websites is that it's very competitive. Since you're not on a massive marketplace, you're literally making your own marketplace. One, people have to find you, somehow get to you. Two, if they see that your prices are not the most competitive, then they can easily just go to another person's website, pay the exact same shipping fees and things like that. And everything in general, honestly, it's a very hard field to get into. And the only advantage you really have is you. You are the only advantage you have. For example, me, the only way I really get sales, I don't have the best prices. Like I have, in my opinion, I have pretty good prices, especially a while ago. But now after tariffs and things like that, I honestly don't have very competitive prices. But I am able to get sales because my community supports me. I love all you guys so much, and that's how I've been able to generate sales. And that's how a lot of other people generate sales, or they're just really good, omega competitive prices and best service, things like that. But website definitely really hard, but worth a shot if you if you want to do a website. Worth a shot if you just want to try it out. But you definitely need to do a little bit of research on how to build a website first and the security measures. And yeah, that's basically all of the ways to sell Pokemon cards. Now there is one more way that I would not suggest. It's called flipping. Flipping is, or I guess you could call all of this flipping, but flipping, this kind of flipping that I'm talking about is a little bit different. It's basically when you find retail sources to when you find under market retail sources to resell at market. What I mean by that is most people call it scalping. I wouldn't recommend it. I personally, a lot of people do call me a scalper, which I can definitely see people understand, like calling me a scalper, because like I said, I'm a pawn shop. So when people come to sell to me, they sell me their products and I buy it at 80%. And to be honest, they probably bought it from a retail store. And 80% of what I buy it at market is definitely still way more than what they bought it at. But I don't discriminate, right? I can't really discriminate saying like, oh, you're a scalper versus, oh no, you're just a collector selling to me. So I personally, I guess, float on a gray line of being a scalper. But scalping, in my opinion, is not very fair. A lot of the people that you're going to sell to are the people who would have gone to Target and tried to buy it, or did go to Target, tried to buy it, but then they couldn't because you took it first and then you just sell it to them. But it is definitely the most profitable way to do Pokemon cards, and it is very popular. Don't recommend it. And there's also, one way I didn't talk about is, I actually talked about this kind of in buying more, but a great way to sell Pokemon cards, believe it or not, is by grading them and then selling them. So if you find a card that you believe is going to get a PSA, BGS, CGC, something, I don't know, tag 10, and you're very confident on it, and you check the prices, and you know that you can make a good amount of profit, even though it's going to take a few months, then that is an amazing way to make money, or sell Pokemon cards. But one, that's going to take a little bit more experience, and two, it does take a long time. So honestly, even if you're making 100% profit on it, if it's PSA, you're probably going to be waiting at least 2 months. So who knows? You know what I mean? Like if you're able to sell that, if you're able to sell $100 card 10 times or 10 times within a month, then you already made that money that you would have made just by flipping it with that. But it is an amazing option out there. So definitely go think about that. And if one thing I forgot to mention about grading cards is that I said it's going to take about a month or 2 months for you to get your cards back. But what I meant in that area was, I meant that was for bulk grading. So what a lot of people do is they'll save a bunch of the cards that they think they'll get 10s, send it out for $20 a card, get it back within like, I don't know, 5, 4, 3, 6, I can't remember months. It's like, it usually takes a really long time. However, if you buy a card that you think is going to get a PSA 10, and the PSA 10 is worth like $500, $600, $8,000, $10,000, then what you would do instead is you would pay for the higher grading thing, which does cost a lot more, like I think $30 to $80 to $100 a card. But if you are confident that you're going to make that much profit, then it becomes worth it. Takes about a week to 2 months, I think, somewhere around there. So it kind of varies, but in general, if you're just starting,
the way you would do it is by doing those smaller grading ones where you make maybe $200 max. And when you're making $200 max, it's kind of iffy on if it's worth to wait that 5 months. But yeah, that's what I meant.
If anyone has any other ways that they personally sell Pokemon cards, make sure to go leave it in the comments. Um, and this is a very general. I kind of went over everything very general. I probably should have went more in specific, but on every single platform, there's countless ways to sell. On TCG Player, you're a lot more limited actually. Like TCG Player kind of really only has their stuff that they have. But on eBay, whatnot, Facebook Marketplace, you can do anything. You can do bundles, you can do surprise boxes, you can do spin the wheels, you can do auctions. There's millions of creative ways to sell Pokemon cards, make yourself more interesting and things like that. That's basically it. Before you sell a lot, I definitely suggest to go over my general business stuff. Even though I don't sell a lot, so I don't really know a lot of the upper level business stuff. I'm gonna kind of go over the things you gotta worry about, and especially with taxes and other things like that. So make sure you go check that out. And yeah, that's personally how I learned of, tried, and heard of to sell Pokemon cards. If anyone has any other ways, make sure you go leave it in the comments. If anyone has any questions, leave it in the comments. And yeah, good luck on selling, and make sure to have fun. That's the number one thing. Have fun, and don't be pushy. I said this about buying, but don't be pushy. I don't care if you have the lowest price on the market. That doesn't mean someone needs to buy your stuff. So don't be pushy. Don't be like, bro, why wouldn't you buy this? It's this, blah, blah, blah. If they don't want to buy it, they don't want to buy it. So don't be pushy. Have fun. Build your community. And get that bread.